Okay, Councilmember Hanks, followed by Osei.
Thank you, chairs. Good afternoon. I also want to thank you for the significant capital project in Lopez Park in my district utilizing the modular construction. So I have two questions. One is general. In fiscal 2024, we did a cursory analysis of initiatives and what other boroughs had at least 12 to 18 park rangers per borough. Being from the borough of Parks, Staten Island, we only have 8. So is there a reason for this disparity? As my colleagues and I today fight to restore staffing levels, how is the Parks Department going to make sure that there is staff equity throughout all of the boroughs in the city of New York?
Thank you, Council Member, for the question. And it is something that we do look at and assess and do our best to equitably distribute the resources that we have, including rangers. And that's based on programming, that's based on activity in park, that's based on just making sure that we can distribute them as evenly as possible across the boroughs.
Okay, thank you. I think we'll dig into that a little bit more on a personal level.
Absolutely.
One-on-one. So, okay. So in the City Council's fiscal preliminary 2025 budget response, we noted that the Parks and Recreation park maintenance needed to be restored to prior levels. The budget response also called on the administration to add $59.7 million. The executive plan does not include any additional funding for the council's priorities. And so I say that to say that we have repeatedly called for the dredging of Allison Pond Park, which is a vital link to flood resilience in the North Shore runoff drainage plan. And because this dredging has not taken place, several flooding incidents have occurred in this year in Randall Manor and Livingston neighborhoods. What is the plan to dredge this important parkland and relieve my district of some of this persistent and consistent flood concern?
Thank you, Councilwoman, for the question, and we are very much focused on enhancing the resiliency of the city and utilizing green infrastructure initiatives, a number of opportunities to enhance the resiliency of the city. We're very much concerned about flooding. That's why we're planting as many trees as we can. That's why we're very focused on our wetlands mitigation and wetlands management framework. The dredging at that particular location, I don't think I have a specific timeline on, but happy to address that offline.
We'll also, I don't know if you have anything to add to that. You looked very like you had something to say.
No, not at all.
Just that we'll get back to you
exactly.
for sure on it.
So one more question. So I kind of wanted to also go back to Councilmember Nurse's comment about the planting of trees because you want to do this flood resilience. And what's happening in Staten Island is that we're planting them on residential blocks. And once they're planted and the roots begin to grow and they break up the sidewalk, then the city of New York gives a parting gift of a bill that my constituents, and I would imagine my colleagues may have the same concern, but how can we ask, or how can a constituent or homeowner ask for a tree that they know that they're going to care for, as opposed to it being there and not really understanding what their financial responsibilities will be once the tree grows and prospers and breaks up the concrete in which they have to pay for?
Yes, thank you, Councilmember, for the question. And we've done a number of things and made a number of enhancements to our tree planting protocols over the last few years. We're planting a great variety of trees, over 100 different species, and we're looking at things like how it's going to impact, how the roots are going to impact underground, the sidewalk. So really trying to plant the right trees for the right location to minimize impact. We're also expanding the tree bed that we're planting in, so that gives the roots more room to grow and creates less impact on the sidewalk. So there's a number of things we've implemented on the forestry side to help smooth that process so people will welcome the trees and understand their importance in terms of enhancing the resiliency of the city without causing the negative impacts.
Thank you. And so that's the bottom, but the top, now we wanted to talk about clean energy and solar panels, and the trees create shade. So that's the second big issue, which is, they're investing in solar energy, and the trees are covering, and now during certain times of the month, or the year, it's just become one of those things that we're not really understanding sometimes what we're asking for. Of course, we want more trees, we want clean energy, but these things often collide in a way that when we talk about urban planning in the public realm, that we should be taking, that into consideration for better planning. Thank you.